Do you think the solar system moves like this? Wrong. Actually, the solar system's trajectory looks like this. You might say, clearly, the education we receive since childhood always shows the sun staying still in the center. And that is also how textbooks illustrate it. Actually, illustrations like this are drawn to let you understand what orbits what. They do not tell you the truth. Because the real sun is not stationary. The sun itself is traveling at a speed of 220 kilometers per second, dragging the entire solar system through the Milky Way. While the Earth orbits the sun, it is rushing forward with the sun. If you look down from above the Milky Way, the Earth's path is not a circle, but rather a massive, forward-extending helix. Now, imagine this: you think you are sitting here, motionless. Wrong. In fact, you are hurtling through the universe now. Let's count how many layers of speed are stacked on you right now. First of all, the Earth is rotating. If you were at the equator, you would be spinning at a speed of 465 meters per second. That's worse. Then, the Earth is revolving around the sun at a speed of 30 kilometers per second. That is the second. What does a speed of 30 kilometers per second even mean? It is 90 times the speed of sound, and over 200 times the speed of Boeing 747. Now the third layer, the sun is carrying the entire solar system, speeding around the center of the Milky Way at 220 kilometers per second. Sitting on the solar system trampoline, you are rushing with it. Do you think that is all? Not at all, because the Milky Way itself is moving. The Milky Way is like a giant ship, carrying 400 billion stars, sailing at a speed of 600 kilometers per second towards the Great Attractor. You just scroll videos at home. Your actual movement speed in the universe, all added up, it exceeds 600 kilometers per second. You feel like you are lying still. In fact, you are currently moving at a speed beyond human imagination. Hurtling proceeds. At this point, someone might ask, why can't I feel any of this? Why hasn't the position of the stars in the sky changed? This is because the universe is simply too vast. It is so vast that everything, the Earth, the Sun, and the Milky Way, are moving forward with you. You cannot perceive absolute speed. It is just like a high-speed train, when the entire carriage is moving forward at 300 kilometers per hour. The relative speed between you and your seat is zero. You do not feel you are moving. This is the illusion of the universe. The universe makes you feel completely still, allowing you to live your life in peace, without being scared to death every second. But today, you finally know the truth. The solar system's motion is far more chaotic than you imagine. The orbital planes of the 8 planets, and the direction of the sun's movement in the Milky Way, are neither perpendicular nor horizontal. Instead, they form an angle of about 60 degrees. This means that our planets are sometimes shielding the front of the sun. It is a highly chaotic, three-dimensional dance. Imagine you are speeding on a motorcycle and throw some pebbles out with your right hand. On one hand, the pebbles form circles from your hand. On the other, they rush with the motorcycle. However chaotic those pebbles' paths are, the solar system's planetary paths are just as chaotic. Yet, because of this chaos that we luckily managed to survive. Because if the planets honestly moved on a flat plane, as the sun travels through the Milky Way, gravitational disruptions would unleash comet showers from the trans-Neptunian region, flinging them inside. If so, the Earth would have been blasted into a sieve long ago. It is exactly this tilt and chaos of the solar system that forms a natural gravitational barrier, flinging most dangerous ice chunks away to a safe distance. So, we owe our existence to this very chaos. Come to think, isn't this chaos a kind of perfect design in itself? The sun has carried us along for 4.6 billion years. Where's it hang? It doesn't have actual map coordinates, but it has a goal. It is currently orbiting a massive black hole at the center of the Milky Way, Sagittarius Isar. This is a supermassive black hole with a mass 4 million times that of the sun. For the Sun to orbit the Milky Way once, it takes about 250 million years. The last time the Sun was in its current position, dinosaurs were just emerging in the Triassic, and Earth's landmass was still squeezed, forming Pangea. And the Milky Way itself had its gestation in about 4 billion years. The Milky Way will collide with the neighboring Andromeda galaxy. The two galaxies are approaching each other at a speed of 110 kilometers per second. But there's no need to worry. The collision of the two galaxies won't cause any explosion. Instead, they will pass through, tear each other, and then merge. Stars within the galaxies will hardly collide at all, because the universe is too vast and too sparse. However, gravity will turn both galaxies' spiral arms into a mess. A gravitational slingshot might hurl the solar system to a new place, further from the Milky Way center, or closer. Earth could be flung out of the galactic disk, drifting in intergalactic space, becoming a lonely planet with no starlight at night. That silver band of light would vanish from the night sky. In its place would be a massive, merging, and chaotic remnant far away. This is exactly where we are heading. A cosmic-scale car crash lasting billions of years. Now, look up at the starry sky again. Does it feel a bit different? You will never think of those stars as fixed and stable again. You know you are hurtling forward at 600 kilometers per second. You know the entire solar system is rushing ahead recklessly. And you know the trajectory Earth leaves behind is a beautiful spiral line. At the end of the spiral line is a spectacular cosmic car crash 4 billion years from now. But you're lucky. You should be glad that you were not born 5 billion years later. For 5 billion years later, Earth will be swallowed by the Sun. Moreover, the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy will have already collided. The two galaxies will have merged into a giant elliptical galaxy. Star formation will have slowly come to a halt, and the night sky will lack bright stars. You should be glad that you were not born near the edge of the observable universe, because the galaxies there are pitifully sparse. Even better, you were not born 100 million years after the Big Bang, because back then, the entire universe was pitch dark, with no stars shining. You were born here, born on Earth. Born in this remote suburb called the Solar System. Born on this crazy, spiraling forward. You are on history's fastest ship, hurtling at 600 kilometers per second, toward a cosmic abyss whose name you cannot even call out. You are not stationary, you are the craziest traveler in the universe.